Imagine this. It's midnight at a wedding reception. Music, laughter, drinks, people spinning on the dance floor. Then suddenly, your chest tightens. Your hands start shaking. A surge of terror hits you so hard you can't breathe. You have no idea why. No threat, no danger. Just this overwhelming sense that something precious is slipping away. And then your phone lights up. A missed call. From the kennel where your dog, your best friend, is staying. What happened next didn't just break my heart. It ignited the coldest revenge I've ever taken. If you've ever had someone betray your trust, or if anyone has ever hurt something you love and gotten away with it, then hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because this isn't just a story about loss. It's a story about justice. And the people who thought they were untouchable, they learned exactly how wrong they were. I've always believed that people reveal who they truly are when you're not looking. You leave something precious in their care. Your home, your kid, your dog, and you trust that they'll treat it with the same respect you would. But sometimes, that trust gets shattered so violently it rewires your entire view of people. The setup. My wife Emily and I had been invited to a friend's weekend wedding about 2 hours away. It wasn't anything massive, more of a rustic, outdoor gathering with fairy lights strung between old oak trees, a vintage barn for dancing, the whole charming Pinterest package. Normally we'd bring our dog Cooper with us. He was a 10-year-old golden retriever with a heart of absolute gold. Cooper wasn't just a pet, he was family. The kind of dog who sensed your emotions before you even spoke. If you were sad, he'd put his head on your knee. If you were excited, he'd bounce like a giant fluffy toddler. But the Airbnb for the wedding had a strict no pets rule, and we didn't want to be those irresponsible guests. So we booked a well-reviewed local kennel, Happy Tails Boarding and Care. The website was polished. The reviews glowed. They even bragged about individualized dog attention and 24/7 staff on site. We dropped Cooper off on Friday morning. I still remember his tail wagging as he trotted inside, sniffing the air like he was on an adventure. The staff smiled warmly. They promised updates. They assured us he'd be safe. I trusted them. God, what an idiot I was. The night everything changed. Saturday evening, the wedding reception was in full swing. Emily and I were laughing at the bride's uncle attempting a breakdance. Move his body had absolutely no business attempting. The DJ had transitioned into some nostalgic 2000s pop. For a moment, life felt light. Then it hit me. A wave. No, more like a tidal surge of dread. My heart clenched in my chest like a fist squeezing tighter and tighter. My palms turned icy. My legs felt like they were sinking into the earth. I tried to swallow, but my throat felt locked. Emily noticed immediately. Hey babe, you okay? I wanted to say yes. I wanted to tell her it was just the alcohol or maybe the heat. But a strange part of my brain was already whispering. Something is wrong. I need to lie down, I managed, forcing a smile. Probably just too much dancing. I walked calmly toward the guest rooms, but inside I was spiraling. Every instinct screamed that something terrible was happening. As soon as I closed the door behind me, I grabbed my phone. One missed call. Unknown number, but with the area code of the kennel. The timestamp? The exact moment the fear had slammed into me. My chest tightened again. My fingers hovered over the callback button. Before I could press it, my phone vibrated again. This time, a voicemail notification. My stomach dropped. I pressed play. The voice was shaky, unprofessional. Hi, this is Marcy from Happy Tails. Please call us back when you can. Something happened with... Her voice cracked. With Cooper. My entire world froze. The news that shattered me. I called back instantly. The phone rang only once before someone answered. Hello? Hello? Is this Cooper's owner? Yes, I said. My voice didn't even sound like mine. What's going on? It's not good. Cooper had some kind of medical emergency. It looks like a stroke. He passed away. Silence. Not the comfortable kind. The kind that hollows you out from the inside. I didn't speak. I didn't breathe. I couldn't. Emily came into the room moments later, laughing from some joke she'd just heard outside, until she saw my face. The color drained from her instantly. What happened? She asked, her voice small. I put the phone on speaker. The kennel worker repeated the words. Your dog passed away. Emily's knees buckled. She sat on the bed, covering her mouth, gasping like she'd been punched in the lungs. We're so sorry, the voice said. We'll handle everything. Handle everything. As if Cooper were some broken appliance they would take care of. Emily sobbed beside me, and I stared at the wall. Numb, frozen, hollow. Something didn't feel right. Not just the timing. Not just the suddenness. But the tone. The hesitancy. The trembling voice that sounded less like grief. And more like guilt. The story starts to crack. We left the wedding that night and drove straight home. I called my vet during the ride. She agreed to meet us despite the late hour. When we finally saw Cooper, he was lying on a blanket in the kennel's side room. His fur was matted. He looked wrong. Off. As if something had happened that they weren't telling us. The vet examined him quietly, her brow furrowing. After a long pause, she finally said, "This doesn't look like a natural stroke." "What does that mean?" I asked. "I'm not sure yet, but something about the posture, the rigidity, it's unusual." Emily's hand tightened around mine. The kennel owner, a woman named Janice, hovered in the doorway with a nervous smile plastered across her face, too cheery for someone whose facility had just lost a dog. "We did everything we could," she said, her voice sugary sweet. "He was fine all day, happy as ever." But my vet gave me a quiet look, a look that said, "That's not the whole story." I felt something boil inside me, cold, focused. Not rage yet, but the first spark of something darker, something patient, the search for the truth. The next morning, after a sleepless night, I called the kennel again. I wanted details, answers. The same shaky-voiced employee, Marcy, answered. "Hi. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about this." "Why not?" I pressed. Janice told us not to what? She swallowed audibly. "Not to mention what actually happened." My grip tightened on the phone. "What actually happened, Marcy?" There was a long pause. Then, in a whisper, "It wasn't a stroke." My blood went cold. What was it? Janice, she left him outside in the heat for hours. We're supposed to rotate the dogs every 20 minutes. But she went out for errands or something. He was panting so hard he collapsed. And she told us to say it was a stroke. My breath caught. "How hot was it?" I asked. "About 95, maybe more in the enclosures." A sickening wave rolled over me. Marcy kept talking, her voice trembling. She said it was your dog's fault. That some dogs just can't handle it. She blamed him. Emily burst into tears when I replayed the audio for her. My vision tunneled, everything around me blurred. Emily clutched Cooper's favorite toy, a frayed blue rope, and sobbed quietly into it. That sound, that grief, it did something to me. The numbness evaporated. The confusion burned away. And what was left was purpose, sharp, clear, unbreakable. She killed our dog, and she covered it up. And she thought we'd just accept her lie and move on? No. She had no idea who she was dealing with. The beginning of the plan. Before I struck back, I needed stronger evidence. Something indisputable. I called Marcy again and told her I wanted everything she knew. Time logs, temperature records, anything. I'll send the logs, she whispered. But please, don't tell Janice I help. She'll fire me. That alone told me everything I needed to know about the kennel's management. Minutes later, my email pinged. The logs were shocking. Cooper was placed outside at 11:05 a.m. The rotation record, which should have shown him re-entering within 20 minutes, was blank. The next entry, 2:47 p.m., over 3.5 hours later, temperature reading at that hour, 96 degrees. He suffered. He desperately waited for water, shade, anything. He trusted that someone would come. No one did. Janice abandoned him. And when he collapsed, she lied. And then she lied again. And again. The moment that sealed her fate. I confronted Janice the next day. Emily stayed home. She couldn't bear to see the place again. I walked into the lobby with the printed logs. Janice greeted me with her fake Barbie smile. "So good to see you again." "Shut up," I said quietly. Her smile froze. "I know what you did." She blinked, calculating. "I'm afraid I don't. You left my dog outside for nearly 4 hours in the heat. He didn't die from a stroke. He died from your negligence." Her expression hardened instantly. The mask dropped. She crossed her arms. "Well, some dogs are just weak. Yours must not have been very resilient." I stepped closer. My voice dropped to a low, icy calm. "He trusted you." She shrugged. Actually shrugged. "You can believe whatever you want. We're not responsible for pre-existing health issues." That was it. The final straw. In that moment, the emotional devastation turned into something else entirely. Not rage, not grief. Precision. I knew exactly what needed to be done. Her business. Her reputation. Her entire livelihood. I would take it apart piece by piece. And she would watch every second of it. Janice had no idea that her smirk, her shrug, had already sealed her fate. I walked out of that kennel with the logs in my hand, but something else inside me had changed. This wasn't just about Cooper anymore. It wasn't even about closure. It was about accountability. It was about making sure no one would ever trust her with their pets again. And most of all, it was about making her feel what she had made us feel. Helpless, panicked, betrayed. She thought she was untouchable. She was about to learn how wrong she was. The research begins. I spent the next week gathering everything. I could about Happy Tail's boarding and care. Business license. inspection history, customer complaints, employee reviews, temperature policies for pet boarding facilities in our state. The deeper I dug, the more rot I found. They weren't just careless, they were reckless. This wasn't the first time dogs had been left unattended. This wasn't the first mysterious death. This wasn't the first lie. But every time a customer complained, Janice spun the story. Pre-existing conditions, unexpected medical episode. She must have eaten something before she arrived. On and on. She hid the truth with practiced precision, but this time she had messed with the wrong people. The breakthrough. 3 days into my investigation, I discovered something that cracked everything open. A former employee reached out to me, anonymously. Their message was short but explosive. If you want evidence, check the security cameras. She deletes footage but not the backups. Backups. My pulse kicked up. I immediately tracked down who handled their security system. It wasn't some big company. It was a small local contractor. I called, explained the situation carefully, and asked if they had an off-site archive. They did. In fact, they kept 60 days of rolling footage. And because I was the owner of the affected pet requesting it, they sent me the files. The truth in motion. I opened the footage and skipped ahead to 11 a.m., around the time Cooper was checked on last. There he was, alive, walking, tail wagging, and then Janice yanking his leash toward the outdoor pen, shoving him inside, closing the gate. He walked toward the water bowl, but the camera zoomed in. It was empty, completely dry. The shade in the pen had shifted. The sun was blazing directly on him. The thermometer on the wall, captured by the corner, camera read 92 degrees at that moment, and then the hours started ticking by. 11:30, 12:09, 12:45, 1:20, 2:10. Cooper lay down. He stood back up, wobbling. He tried to find shade that didn't exist anymore. By 2:30, he could barely stand. By 2:45, he collapsed. At 2:47, a staff member found him. She panicked, ran inside to call Janice, and at 2:54, Janice returned, holding an iced coffee, sunglasses perched on her head. She didn't run to him. She didn't check his breathing. She didn't even bend down to comfort him. She stared at him, hands on her hips, and mouthed a single word. Damn. Then she pointed at the staff member and said, "Tell the owners it was a stroke." I watched that clip at least 10 times. By the last viewing, I wasn't shaking from grief. I was shaking from fury. But fury alone wasn't enough. Fury doesn't change things. Facts do. Exposure does. Relentless, undeniable truth does. And I had exactly what I needed. The revenge plan, step by step. Now that I had evidence, I needed impact. Not just a negative Yelp review. Not just a heated argument. I wanted her entire operation dismantled. Here's how I did it. Step 1, reporting her. I compiled employee logs, temperature records, audio from Marcy, security footage, a detailed timeline, statements from multiple ex-employees who were willing to speak once they heard what happened. And I sent it all to the County Animal Services Department, the State Veterinary Board, the Better Business Bureau, the local Animal Cruelty Task Force, the local news investigative team, and a lawyer who specialized in negligence cases. The lawyer's response? This is the strongest case I've seen in years. Step 2, the media explosion. 2 weeks later, a reporter contacted me. They were doing an investigation on pet boarding facilities after multiple complaints. They wanted to feature our story. I agreed, but on one condition. They had to use the footage. When the segment aired, it didn't just get views, it exploded. Headline: Local dog dies after being left in scorching heat for hours. Owner covers it up. They blurred Cooper, but not Janice. Not her face. Not her voice. Not her lies. Comments poured in. People were furious. Pet owners across the town shared the story. Neighbors, friends, local businesses. Even the mayor's office reposted it. Happy Tales went from 4.9 stars to 0.6 in days. Step 3, the legal consequences. Animal Services launched a full-scale investigation. They inspected the facility unannounced. They interviewed the staff. They reviewed the footage. And within 48 hours, Happy Tales boarding and care was shut down. Permanently. Janice was fined thousands. Then charged with animal cruelty and negligence, a criminal offense. Her business license was revoked. Her insurance dropped her. Her staff quit in a single day. And when she showed up to the next hearing, the courtroom was packed with furious pet owners she had lied to before. She never stood a chance. The climax, the final meeting, I didn't plan to see her again. But fate has a twisted sense of timing. 3 months later, I saw her outside the courthouse after her sentencing hearing. Her hair was a mess. Her makeup smeared. Her expression hollow, defeated. She spotted me instantly. For a moment she hesitated, almost like she expected me to yell or threaten her. Instead, I walked up calmly. Quiet. Controlled. Her voice cracked. Are you happy now? I looked her dead in the eyes. No, I said softly. I'd give anything to have my dog back. She flinched. But this, I added, this is justice. Her jaw trembled. Her bravado, the smug dismissal gone, shattered. She whispered, barely audible. I lost everything. And Cooper lost his life, I replied. The difference is, he didn't deserve it. I didn't wait for her to respond. I turned and walked away. Not triumphant. Not gloating. Just done. The aftermath. Emily and I adopted another rescue months later. Not to replace Cooper, nothing could. But to honor him. To give another dog the life he deserved. And every time I throw a ball or watch our new pup, Luna, race across the yard, I think of Cooper's tail wagging, his warm eyes, his gentle soul. He didn't die for nothing. Because of him, a corrupt business was exposed. Dozens of future pets were saved. Laws in our county were updated for better kennel oversight. His story changed things. His life mattered. Climactic revenge payoff, 1-2 minutes. Janice lost everything she valued. Her money, her reputation, her business, her status in the community. She thought she could shrug off responsibility. She thought she could lie her way out. But in the end, everything she tried to hide became the very weapon that brought her down. And knowing that no other pet would suffer under her care again, that was the moment the weight finally lifted from my chest. It wasn't happiness. It wasn't celebration. It was justice. Pure and simple. Losing Cooper broke something inside me. But fighting for him rebuilt something stronger. Sometimes life doesn't give you fairness automatically. You have to carve it out yourself. And when people hurt the innocent, when they think no one will hold them accountable, that's when karma needs a little push. If this story hit you in the heart, then smash that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's the most shocking betrayal or injustice you've ever witnessed? And don't forget, subscribe for more emotionally intense revenge stories every week. Your support helps us keep these powerful stories alive.